We are live. Rate
How are
cut or rate shock?
Here we
Harry,
go.
what are the predictions and what does this mean for the property market in Sydney?
Good evening, guys. Welcome back to Monday News. You're joined by myself, Harry, and I've got my colleague Alex with me today. Alex, we're going to discuss a little bit of a hot topic, especially with the latest news being released by the RBA Governor, Michelle Bullock, tomorrow with the interest rates. So we're going to explore, guys, and as to what the interest rates how the interest rates are going to be impactful for the property market in Sydney. So, Alex,
we will. I
thoughts,
suppose
feelings, concerns.
it's a little bit of the elephant in the room. The past couple of weeks, just with my interactions with all the buyers coming to the properties, is that some people are kind of waiting and just seeing what's going to happen tomorrow with the RBA, what is going to be released, and whether it's going to be a cut or a raise. Predictions are that they will raise it. By how much, no one really knows until tomorrow. We had Zach, the mortgage broker, on this morning with Billy, and the estimation was around 0.25.
Yep.
That's kind of what they're gauging it could be if it were to rise. In terms of a cut, probably not, mainly because inflation is on the upwards, and you'd only really see a cut if people were kind of cutting back on things like the unemployment rate that's gone down. If that was going the other way, then it would kind of steer the RBA to do a bit of a rate cut.
Yeah. Spot on. I think just with buyer interactions over the last few weeks, guys, I think the magic word here is unfazed. I don't actually think buyers will have as strong as an impact, because the funny thing is with interest rate cuts, usually the economy doesn't actually start seeing, changes in the actual market until, the next 6 to 9 months. Because when there's a change in the cash rate, usually there's a delay in the economy that the changes actually experience at, in that long, 6 to 12 month period. So I think with the rate, I actually think they're going to hold the interest rates tomorrow. Michelle Bullock has actually discussed in various articles that she's actually looking at holding it as opposed to increasing it. But we will find that tomorrow. So, But I think the main point with buyers is that if you're a prospective buyer, your finance is ready to go, or you're cashed up and you find something, I don't think that, a 25 basis point jump is actually going to impact a prospective buyer if they've got their eyes set on the right property. I actually think, someone that's ready to go and they want the right property in the right location, it ticks all their boxes, is actually going to go ahead and buy the property regardless, especially if you're cashed up, because you won't even have to worry about your finance or your interest rates as well.
Yeah, look, I agree. And I think a big factor you have to take into account is the location and where we're at. So the Northern Beaches, in comparison to the remaining of Sydney and the remainder of New South Wales, is such a different and unique market in the sense that it performs better in all aspects all the time. Like, I know over the past 12 months, houses have seen about a 9% increase.
DY did about 10% last year.
DY units did 10.1%, which is really good, and we can't see it changing. Just for the livability and the demand that's here.
DY is just one of those hotspot places where it's like it's got everything. It's like an all-rounder. It's like you've got the location, you've got the lifestyle, the people here are nice. It's just an overall very nice place, very well balanced place to live in, and I strongly believe that what the Northern Beaches has is very unique compared to the rest of Sydney, where, someone is actually a lot more heavily influenced on market trends, whereas Northern Beaches is just, I feel
People
like
want
it's
to
a lot
be here.
more,
So they're happy to
different
sacrifice
market.
the extra 100, extra $200 a month on the repayments on whatever their repayments may be, depending on the interest rate rise or cut. I think people are kind of happy to cop that just to live here. And we see that in the vacancy rates across the northern beaches, because it does affect investors a lot. If there were to be a rise, it does affect investors. And I mean, there's a vacancy rate of 0.9%, which is very low to the standard, which is around 3% across the remaining of New South Wales. So vacancy rate is very low, which means demand, competition, and people looking for rentals is high. So even if there is an interest rate rise tomorrow, it still means good news for investors because the demand is still here on the northern beaches. It's still a really good place to buy.
And I think if the interest rates, or if the cash rate jumps up by 25 basis points, causing the interest rates to go up, I actually think it's a good thing for prospective buyers, because when you're borrowing, how do I explain this in the easiest, simplest way possible? If you're a prospective buyer and you want to get ahead of the competition, having the interest rates more expensive means that if you're a prospective buyer and you go to the bank to take out a mortgage and the cost of borrowing is higher than what it used to be, a lot of people are less incentivized to actually take out a mortgage and buy a property. And majority of the population will think like that. Whereas if you're an investor that's very confident in where the market's going to go, I actually think it gives you a bit of a competitive edge, because it sort of takes away that level of competitiveness, because everyone else is sort of taking a step back, saving their money a little bit more and waiting for the rates to come down. Whereas when you've got a high interest rate, some people are just, they just take that risk and actually end up taking a mortgage in the first place. And when you do that, you actually have less buyers out there on the market. So your chances of securing a property are actually a lot higher when the interest rate's a lot higher, I think. And I actually have seen that in the market a fair few times as well. So that's my take on it, actually.
And allowing yourself to get into the market sooner benefits you in many ways. I mean, we just touched on the percentage increase over the past 12 months. And whatever it's predicted to do in the next 12 months could be 10%, could be 5%, could be 15%, whatever it may be. If it is, and it has been steady over the past few years, if it continues to rise, you've made that equity back in that 12 months. So you're already 12 months ahead of the game of everyone else, giving you that edge, and that is setting you up for the future, really. So as you said, if the people can kind of bite the bullet, and which a lot of people do on the northern beaches, they want to live here. So they're willing to bite the bullet just to stay. So I don't really think that it will affect the property market on the northern beaches. It might a little bit, but not as much as people would think, or not as much as the surrounding suburbs or cities across New South Wales.
And another thing to take into consideration is that the northern beaches is a very secured area. It's a very secured area, part of Sydney, when it comes to buying property. You don't see properties depreciate in value like you do in other parts of Sydney and other parts of Australia, like Perth, like the Gold Coast. Sometimes if you're buying in the wrong areas, you are actually likely to face, a slight depreciation if you're not cautious. Whereas in the northern beaches, in my career, and I would argue in Alex's career working in real estate, I've actually never heard or seen or experienced anyone actually losing money on property when purchasing on the northern beaches. So you've got that nice reassurance of security, where even if you were to buy a property when the interest rates are high and the interest rates actually drop off over time, I don't actually think that the value of that property will diminish. I think it will continue increasing as the property market does over time. But yeah, I strongly believe that, if you were to buy on the northern beaches, you'd be buying in a very, very secured space, secured area.
And people might think we're based a little bit biased towards the northern beaches, which we are. I mean, it's as we've touched on this in the past.
Born and bred here.
It's a great area, and the people that live here know that and appreciate it. So, as I said, I don't think that what's going to happen tomorrow will really affect everyone around us as much as everyone is predicting it to. So I think everyone just needs to kind of chill. Come buy some property, come to our open homes, have a look through.
Yeah.
We might secure you next time.
Yeah. Too easy. Beautiful,
Perfect.
guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
listening.
Hope everyone has a good week.
Yeah.
We just started the shortest month of the year. We're already a month into 2026.
All right.
It's flying by. And if it goes anything like last year, it'll be Christmas before you know it.
That's it.
That's it.
Thanks, guys.
Perfect.
Love ya.
Thank you.
See ya. Bye.